Rachel, hi. Could
Hi.
you tell us a little bit about Agile PR?
Yep, sure. So I am a chartered PR practitioner and I set up Agile PR in 2016. And it's a strategic communications agency. I'm based in Truro, but my clients tend to be all over the UK, sometimes international as well. So yeah, I've had quite a particular business model when I set up Agile PR, which was all about just me working as an independent practitioner and working within a limited kind of capacity of client work that I was going to do to enable me to manage my life, manage my well-being and mental health. Agile is a way of working that actually came from the software industry, and it's now a kind of globally recognised way of working. And what I've done with my business is that I've applied Agile working to PR and communications, and I actually became qualified just before the pandemic as an Agile coach. So one of my favourite parts of the manifesto is responding to change over following a plan, or customer collaboration over contract negotiation. How can you work with people more effectively? Another part is individuals' interactions over processes and tools. So how can we work with people and enjoy interacting with them to kind of bring value? But ultimately, being Agile is about focusing on the really important stuff, like what delivers value for you and your business or your team or your customer every day.
Great, and obviously things changed dramatically about 18 months ago. So just talk us through a little bit about how COVID affected your business and some of the changes you had to make.
Yeah. When I set up Agile PR, I was really clear in my mind that I didn't want to employ any staff. I'd done that before and I just wanted to look at a fresh business model that was a little bit easier to run, more flexible. And so I was dead set on staying as an independent practitioner, and I've won awards for being an independent practitioner within the UK. And the situation I found myself in when the pandemic hit and when the schools closed is that I felt my personal capacity to deliver work for my clients was quite dramatically reduced. We were expected to support our children with home learning. And that's been incredibly challenging for working parents during that period of time. I also had a really strong pipeline of work that was still available. I tend to work in quite a specific market, which is working with universities and research programs, and they were all still continuing. It was not business as usual, but they were still working in the same way. I realised that I needed to kind of rethink how I was running my business and actually at this point bring in some extra members of the team. So I decided to pivot to a virtual agency model, and what that means is that I have a network of associates and a core team of people that I can call on to help me deliver the work that I'm doing on behalf of my clients. I was able to bring in some really amazing people to help me deliver that workflow. And that's continued as we kind of go back to work in a more normal way. By rethinking this, it's enabled me to increase my revenue within my business by 40%. But I've also been able to offer work to I brought on about 3 people on a kind of regular basis to join my team on a kind of part-time basis. A number of these were mums, some of them were single mums. I also have a wider network of other consultants that I bring in on a project-by-project basis.
And how did you find clients responded to the changes, or was it fairly seamless and they didn't really notice the difference?
Some of my clients were really kind of proactive. One of them in particular went into home working very quickly, even before we were told to work from home. They work within the medical sciences division at University of Oxford, so they were right at the centre of what was happening. And essentially, a lot of my clients, we just quickly moved on to working on Teams and Zoom. And in lots of ways, that's been a massive benefit to my business because most of my clients are kind of Bristol, London, Oxford, or international. I was spending maybe £750 a month on travel every month just to run my business. And that cost got cut out immediately. And I was able then to kind of redirect that money towards freelance community and providing work for other people. So I'm focusing on the growth of my business. So I think everyone adapted quite quickly. I quite enjoyed working on sort of Teams and Zoom. I found it a really efficient way to work. I could spend many hours kind of on the M5 or on the train or traveling around the country. So I've managed to get that time back for me and for my family, which is really, really awesome.
What lessons would you say you've learnt from pandemic times and the switches you've made and the pivots that you've had to put your business through?
One of the key lessons is it's okay to change your mind. You may set out running your business a certain way, and certainly the pandemic has brought unprecedented change to a lot of businesses. So it's okay to be open-minded to that opportunity for change. I think a core lesson is always thinking about how to protect your energy and protect your focus. It was so challenging, I think, everybody working from home, homeschooling from home, finding actual space within your house to do all of that is really difficult. I've really kind of continued to try and focus on some of the things that help me and support my brain to be able to do the work. So focusing on well-being aspects, like maybe that's going to the gym. For me, it's like stand-up paddleboarding. And I think also another kind of key lesson is just really trusting your gut instinct, trusting your intuition that the decisions that you're making are going to be right for you and right for your business.
And going forward, what's the future looking like for Agile PR?
I'm actually exploring going through the B Corps assessment at the moment. I'm about partway through that. I'm hoping to pick it up again in the new year. That's important to me because I've been able to sort of set a new mission statement for Agile PR. It also really helps you with some of the governance aspects of running a business that I'd kind of bypassed when it was just me as an independent practitioner. So I've been revisiting things like my mission statement. And for me, my mission is about doing amazing communications work, but doing it in a way that is sustainable for me and my well-being, that of my team, sustainable financially for all of us, and sustainable for our community and the planet as well.
So just talking about resilience a little bit, tell me a little bit about what has made your business resilient over the last 18, 20 months.
And resilience is really interesting because you never feel particularly resilient when you're going through this sort of stressful period. But I deliberately had set my business up to be quite a lean business structure. I didn't have too many overheads or costs. And I had quite, I would say, a resilient market that I was operating in because it was national and international clients. I wasn't too reliant on any particular sectors that may have struggled during the pandemic. I think that kind of having an agile mindset and being able to pivot. I have another business where we think about how you can operate at 80% awesome. So that's about not being 100% perfect, but focusing on the things that deliver value for you or your clients or your customers or your team every day. So thinking about what delivers value for you and what can you focus on that's important and what can you let go.
What lesson would you, or what teachings would you give to another business to just increase their own resilience? What's the key thing?
What I would suggest to other business owners is sometimes it's just about thinking about your business model and your worth. I work in an industry I work closely with freelance practitioners, and I essentially was a freelance practitioner, and a lot of that was about really understanding what my worth was in the market and going for markets at kind of nationally where you're able to kind of command higher day rates. And so certainly in the freelance community it's quite easy to kind of undervalue yourself.
Rachel, tell me what it's like to employ people on a freelance basis.
I've been able to take on about 7 people on projects or longer term pieces of work during the pandemic. And for each of those, it enables them to work in a really flexible way. They're still very much supported by me, and we very much kind of pair up. So I tend to have one other freelance practitioner working with me on a contract so that every client then gets kind of the benefit of two brains. I can bring in some really specialist skills and expertise into my client work. But also for me, it's been about ensuring they can earn what they're worth. So working with them to set their rates. So in some cases I've gone back and said, I think you can charge more than that. And for a lot of them, they're looking for that, my team are looking for that flexibility to work. Working full time in a job was not an option for me when I set up Agile PR, and I want to be able to offer those opportunities to other people. And I know for at least 2 or 3 people at the start of the pandemic, they just launched their freelance practice, and then the pandemic hit, and their kind of inquiries had gone very quiet. So to be able to offer them some decent work opportunities and bring in their skills and their experience and their enthusiasm was so valuable for all of us.
Is freelancing more inclusive?
I really believe it is, because freelance work enables you to earn what you're worth and build your work around your life. I strongly believe that there's no job locally available to me that can offer me the remuneration and the flexibility that I need. I feel really lucky because I've been able to offer some kind of support and workshop for the Inclusivity project, but now I'm benefiting with my business partner Claire through our business operating 80% Awesome. So we are kind of in the thick of being part of the In Residence project, where we're looking at some research about the effectiveness of some of our tools that we use. In particular, we're going to be exploring how we can apply one of our tools, which is called the Lean Life Canvas, which I covered with the workshop, and seeing how we can apply it in a more of a business context. So yeah, we're just getting started with that now. We've hopefully got our research questionnaire going out very soon.
Excellent. That's been really interesting, Rachel. Thank you so much for talking to me today.
Thank you for having me. It's just been a nice opportunity to kind of look back and see how we've all survived.
Thank you.